Hello, my name is Nathan Dunnigan and I am in Section A of Civil Engineering Systems. I'm currently a second year civil engineering major with a concentration in construction and infrastructure systems. I actually first applied to Georgia Tech as a BME major with the hopes of becoming a doctor because both of my grandparents are doctors. However, after thinking more about my future, I realized that being a doctor is not for me. I thought about how I ran a landscaping business for 2 years in high school with over 20 clients and 4 employees. I realized that I loved doing hands-on work and loved seeing a project from the beginning stages to the final stage, even if it was just a backyard back then. I also knew that I had a love for math and science in high school, and that led me to pick civil engineering. Since making this decision, I have not been happier and I have not looked back. I actually interned with a general contractor the summer coming into college, and that is when I decided that I had a love for construction, which is why I have the concentration in construction and infrastructure systems. First, for the video lecture by Dr. Clough, I realized that climate change is caused by nature and not people. However, humans cause nature to respond to their actions, which then in turn causes climate change. This relates to how he said at the beginning of the video that he has to keep changing the lecture he gives due to all the changes that humans are making, which then results in more changes in climate change. This means that humans must work with nature rather than against nature. Next, I realized that we as engineers will have to think about the mobility of coastal cities, and that cities will have to be moved eventually, like San Francisco, Miami, Charleston, etc. And this relates to how Dr. Clough mentioned blue sky flooding. This also relates to what we talked about in class when we learned that the majority of people live in coastal areas. Finally, I got the takeaway about refugees, and I never realized that that effects of climate change have on people, and how people might lose their culture and home due to climate change, like the tribes in Alaska. Next, I'll talk about the Rockstrom article. My first takeaway is that 3 boundaries have surpassed their limitations, and that all of these boundaries are related. For example, changes in land use play a very significant role in biodiversity loss. The second takeaway is that current climate models may underestimate the severity of the long-term climate change effects. So it actually might be worse than what we think, which is why we really need solutions. My final takeaway is that a branch of this approach proposed by Rockstrom and others is to understand essential Earth processes such as human actions, which is why I think that it is important to educate and research human actions on our environment to find the best solutions. Finally, from this class, I hope to gain the creative processes needed to work with others to solve a problem. Climate change cannot be solved by an individual, and I'm hoping to learn the successful teamwork and communication skills needed to solve a common goal, which will be useful in the future when I am working with a variety of different people to solve this goal. The problem will be how to build a sustainable world that will require input from a lot of different people and nations, requiring strong teamwork skills. Thank you. Goodbye.